the first day of Entremet.
Yay!
We started off by making black forest cake, and we had to mix in the dry ingredients super carefully or else the entire batter will deflate and the cake will just turn out more dense. We had to demold it super carefully so that it could come out in one piece. We started making a vanilla sponge. Vanita didn't let me mix in the dry ingredients because I deflated the last batter, but guess what? She deflated this one as well, but it's okay. Then we started making chocolate chantilly for the black forest cake. We had to whisk it by hand, which took so long.
The first day of Entremet is over. It's day 2 for Entremet, and this is my outfit.
Every morning we have something called the grooming check, where our chef comes and makes sure that our uniforms are clean and our nails are trimmed short. It's actually very strict because if your nails aren't cut properly, then you have to go and cut them immediately or else you won't be allowed back in class. We started preparing to stack the black forest cake. I started off by soaking the chocolate sponge generously so that it's not dry. Then Vanita started piping a layer of chantilly. Look at her piping like a pro. And then I added the cherries generously. I added so many of them.
Look at what happened.
Then we started making lady fingers for the berry charlotte. The piping for this was the hardest part because we had to get all evenly shaped lady fingers and we also had to pipe them slightly diagonal. We then had to heavily dust it with icing sugar so that it can get a nice crunchy crust after baking. And this was just the hardest part ever. To fold the finger biscuits to fit in this 6-inch ring was so difficult. Making the berry charlotte was a lot of effort because a lot of components went into it, but it was all worth it for the end result because it did turn out really well and very tasty.
The second day of Entremet is over.
We're done.
Early again. What's the time?
4:24.
It's day 3 of Entremets and I was so tired in this clip that I'm inaudible. We started off by weighing out a recipe for Italian buttercream. To make this, we have to pour hot sugar syrup into egg whites and I made a mess as usual. And then Vanita cleaned it up for me because she's such a good friend. This was a whole other task. It kept sticking to the counter and the cloth and just wouldn't clean. To get even layers for the vanilla cake, we had to measure it with a ruler and then cut along the markings that we made. We filled the cake and had remaining scraps that we had cut. And then I had the genius idea to make a mini cake out of the scraps so we could taste it in class. Then we sang happy birthday to Vanita when it wasn't even her birthday. And now for the taste test.
Oh, this one tastes gross. Pancakes.
Anyway, we went on to crumb coating the cake and clearly Vanita did not like it. We then started practicing our shell borders to decorate the cake with, which was so fun because we got to experiment with a bunch of different nozzles and piping techniques. Once the chef said we were good to go, we started piping on the cake. And I think I did a pretty good job with it.
The third day of Entremet is over.
Finally.
Hi guys! Oh my god. It's day 5 of Entremet and I feel like the week has gotten over so fast.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because you missed one day.
Vanita and I were given the task to divide chantilly for the entire class. We then did the final coating for the black forest cake. It was so satisfying to peel this off. Chantilly was very difficult to work with compared with the buttercream because it's so light. Luckily, it turned out okay. We got to eat the scraps of the puff pastry, which was so yum. And now look at Vanita's amazing throw. She's so proud. Then we had to cut the ends of our Swiss roll and again we got scraps to eat, which is honestly the best part. Then we started piping a praline filling between the puff pastries. The piping had to be super clean and perfect, and we had to stack the other puff pastry on top super carefully without ruining the piping. We then started finishing all the products by putting fruits on the berry charlotte, and then we wrote mocha on the coffee cake, which is actually really difficult to do. The next thing we had to do was put a strip of chocolate around the black forest cake. And then we finally started with the display. This is the end result. 1 week of hard work, standing so many hours a day. I think it was definitely worth it. As soon as we finished clearing the display, we started distributing everything. I took home so many things today. My box was full. Look at this beautiful cross section of the berry charlotte. Look at the Black Forest one as well. After distributing everything, we start clearing the class. This week, Vandita and I had to do the trolley, which means we have to take all the ingredients and put them back in the store and then restock them for the next week.
We are in some meeting, some online meeting. Look at people introducing.